Have you ever sat across from a man, maybe on a date or just chatting casually, and started to notice that he's crossing his legs the same way you are? Or he leans in when you lean in, or he starts using the same little phrases you do, like calling something adorable, when you know that word hasn't exactly been in his regular vocabulary. Here's the thing, when a man is genuinely into you, one of the first things that starts to happen, often without him even realizing it, is that he begins to mirror you. It's not something he sits down and decides to do. It's psychological, it's instinctive. And it's one of the clearest nonverbal signs that he's emotionally connected and quite possibly falling hard. Mirroring is this subtle dance of connection. It's the brain's way of saying, I feel safe with you, I want to be in sync with you. Think about it. We naturally mirror people we admire, respect, or want to be close to. When a man starts adopting your tone, your energy, even your rhythm of speech, it's not just mimicry, it's alignment. He's not just paying attention to your words, he's tuning into your emotional frequency. And that tells you something powerful. He's not trying to dominate the space, he's trying to share it, to match it, to connect. It might be as small as ordering the same drink as you, even if he doesn't usually drink it. Or laughing a second after you do, not because the joke just hit him late, but because your laugh sparked something in him. It could be a simple shift in posture. If you lean forward, so does he. If you brush your hair behind your ear, you might catch him scratching his neck a moment later. It's these tiny, almost invisible shifts that reveal a man's emotional state more honestly than anything he might try to say out loud. This kind of mirroring also happens emotionally. If you're excited, he'll match that excitement even if he doesn't fully understand why you're excited. If you're feeling a little low, he instinctively softens, checks in, and adapts to where you are. This is when you see the real signs, not just of attraction, but of care. It's not the grand gestures, it's his subtle adjustments to keep emotional pace with you. He's essentially saying, I see you, I'm with you in this moment. And here's what's interesting, he may not even notice he's doing it. That's what makes this so genuine. He knows that he's not who he claims to be. We might put on a show, buy flowers, crack jokes, dress up. But when we're emotionally invested, we tune in, we absorb, we reflect. That's when the connection becomes less about performance and more about presence. But this doesn't mean you should sit back and look for robotic mimicry. This isn't about testing whether he mirrors your every move. It's about paying attention to the vibe, the flow. When he's crazy about you, there's a harmony that starts to unfold naturally between the two of you. You don't feel like you're doing all the emotional lifting. He meets you there without needing permission, without making it a big deal. He's just there, right beside you, step for step. So if you're ever wondering whether he's really into you, look at what he's picking up from you. Not just your words, but your energy, your quirks, your pace. When a man starts to mirror your world, even in the subtlest of ways, it's a psychological whisper that says, I don't just like you, I want to be close to you. And often, that speaks louder than any love declaration ever could. When a man is genuinely crazy about you, one of the most powerful things he'll do, often without even realizing it, is create these small, almost fleeting moments that feel deeply intimate. I'm not talking about sweeping romantic gestures or grand declarations. Those have their place, sure. But what really gives away his true feelings are the subtle micro moments, these tiny, quiet signals he sends out to build a private world with you. It's in these unspoken connections that he lays the groundwork for something more meaningful. He might share a joke that only the two of you understand, the kind that no one else would even notice, but to you both, it carries weight. It creates this invisible thread between you, something that says, "We get each other." That's not accidental. That's him trying to carve out space where the connection is just yours. It's his way of letting you know you're special to him, that he sees you not just as someone he likes, but someone he wants to draw closer into his emotional orbit. And then there are the subtle touches. He might gently place his hand on your back as you walk through a door, or let his fingers graze yours when you're sitting next to each other. It's not overt or inappropriate. It's thoughtful, measured, and it tells you he's craving closeness, even when words aren't spoken. It's those little touches that feel electric, not because of what they are, but because of what they mean. They carry emotion he's not trying to take from you. He's trying to connect with you. He might also take interest in the smallest details about you. He remembers that you love your coffee with just a splash of oat milk, or that you get nervous before flights, or that your favorite song calms you down. And so, in these micro moments, he brings those things back to life. Maybe he texts you a line from that song out of nowhere. Or maybe he sends a meme that reminds him of something you said 3 weeks ago. It might seem silly or small, but it's not. It's deliberate. It's his way of saying, "I remember you, you matter to me," and let's not forget about eye contact. This isn't just about looking at you, it's about the way he looks when he does. There's a softness in his eyes, a focus that doesn't feel like he's scanning you. It feels like he's asterisk with asterisk you fully. You might catch him just watching you talk, smiling at the way you say something, not even interrupting, just enjoying the fact that you're there. That kind of attention can't be faked. That's the kind of attention that's driven by feeling. What he's doing with these moments is creating emotional depth, little by little. He's not trying to overwhelm you or rush things. Instead, he's feeding the connection in small, consistent doses. He's telling you, "I'm paying attention, I feel something here," and more importantly, he's giving you space to feel it too. No pressure, just presence. When a man is crazy about you, these micro moments aren't filler. They are the relationship. They're the clues that tell you his interest runs deeper than the surface. He's not just trying to impress you. He's trying to include you in his emotional world. He wants you to feel safe, seen, and slowly wrapped into the kind of bond that doesn't need constant validation, because it's built on real moments, not performative ones. So if you ever find yourself smiling at something he said that no one else would understand, or catching your breath at a glance he gives you when you're not even trying to be charming, that's your sign. That's not a random guy. That's a man who's building something with you, one beautiful, private moment at a time. When a man is genuinely crazy about you, something interesting starts to happen. He begins to want to set himself apart. Not in an arrogant, "look at me" way, but in a quiet, purposeful way that says, "I'm not like the others." It's almost like he's silently competing with every bad date, flaky guy, or disappointing connection you've ever had. Because when he really feels something for you, he wants you to see him as safe, different, trustworthy, a man you can actually count on. This isn't about pretending to be perfect. It's about showing up consistently and letting his actions speak. He'll do things that might feel subtle in the moment, but they add up over time. For example, he responds when he says he will. He keeps his word. If he says he'll call, he calls. If he makes plans, he follows through. These might seem like basic behaviors, but in a dating culture where ghosting and flakiness are almost normalized, this kind of consistency becomes a powerful signal. He's not trying to play the game, he's trying to end it with you. And he'll also go out of his way to show emotional presence. You'll notice that he listens in a way that feels rare, like he's not just waiting for his turn to talk. He asks questions that matter. He remembers things you said offhandedly, not because he's trying to impress you, but because they actually stuck with him. There's a vulnerability to this too, because when a guy is into you, he starts to let his guard down, not just to get closer to you, but to give you permission to do the same. He's not performing strength, he's showing his humanness. That's how he tries to differentiate himself. Not by puffing his chest, but by opening his heart. You might even catch him gently distancing himself from behaviors he assumes other guys have displayed around you. Maybe he says something like, "I know most people disappear when things get real, but that's not me." Or "You deserve someone who actually shows up." And it's not that he's bashing other men, he's simply trying to highlight a better standard. He wants you to know that he sees what you've been through and that he respects it. That he's not here to repeat the cycle, but to be something steadier, more meaningful. This also shows up in the way he handles your emotions. If something bothers you, he doesn't get defensive or dismissive. He leans in. He might say, "Help me understand what you're feeling," instead of shutting down. He sees moments of conflict not as threats, but as opportunities to show you how he handles pressure, emotion, and accountability. Because when he's truly invested, he doesn't want you to question how he feels or where he stands. He wants to be the guy who proves, day by day, that he can hold space for more than just the good times. What he's doing in all of this is not trying to be perfect, he's trying to be real. He's trying to create a contrast between himself and every experience that made you feel unseen or undervalued. And he's hoping that in showing up differently, consistently, and with sincerity, you'll start to trust the idea that maybe love doesn't have to come with games or confusion. So, if you find yourself thinking, "This feels different," it probably is. When a man is truly crazy about you, he doesn't compete with flashy gestures, he competes with integrity. He shows you through action that he's not here to blend in with every other guy. He's here to be the exception. And he hopes you'll see him that way too. When a man is completely taken by you, one of the clearest signs, though often overlooked, is how he starts inventing reasons to be around you. And these reasons, they're usually completely unnecessary. He doesn't need a real excuse. He just needs something to make it make sense to see you, talk to you, or be in your space. Because when he's really into you, proximity becomes the priority. It's not about needing a grand event or a formal date. It's about presence. Just being around you feels like enough. He might suddenly become curious about something he knows you're interested in. Let's say you love a certain type of food, or you're into a hobby like painting, running, or old move. Suddenly he's asking about it, maybe even suggesting you do it together. But here's what's really going on. It's not just about the activity, it's about closeness. He's using your interests as a bridge to spend more time with you. And he's not doing it in a forced way. It's subtle, natural, like texting you out of nowhere. "I just walked past this tiny sushi place. Thought of you." That message isn't about sushi. It's about you. Sometimes the reasons he gives will be charmingly transparent. He might say something like, "I was just in the neighborhood," when you both know he lives 30 minutes away. Or he'll casually mention needing help with something he could have easily Googled or figured out on his own. But he'd rather ask you, not because he's helpless, but because even a few minutes of your attention feels worth it. That's the mindset of someone who's already emotionally invested. He's trying to find small ways to weave himself into your world without pushing too hard or appearing needy. It's his way of saying, "I want more time with you," without explicitly saying it, and you'll notice this pattern. It's not just once. It becomes frequent. He'll show up to that group hangout because he knew you'd be there. He'll suggest grabbing a quick coffee before your day starts or swinging by to drop something off that didn't really need to be delivered in person. And all of these actions are small on the surface, but beneath them is this steady pull, this desire to be near you, even in the most ordinary moments. This behavior isn't calculated, it's instinctive. When someone's genuinely drawn to you, they start creating overlap between your life and theirs. They want shared routines, shared spaces, even shared silence. It's not about performing interest, it's about experiencing connection, even in the quietest, most unremarkable parts of the day. That's when you know his interest isn't surface level, because anyone can show up for the big, romantic moments. But when a man shows up for the unplanned, seemingly insignificant ones, that's when it's real. Sometimes he might not even fully understand why he's doing it. He just feels better when you're around, calmer, more focused, more himself. And that internal shift becomes the fuel behind all these small efforts. He'll look for just about any excuse to talk to you, see you, or stay longer than he probably should. Not because he doesn't have other things to do, but because, if he's honest, being with you is the moment he actually looks forward to the most. So if you start to notice that he's finding ways to overlap with your day, even if it's just for a moment, pay attention. That's not randomness, that's intent wrapped in casualness. When a man is crazy about you, your presence becomes his comfort zone, and he'll look for every opportunity, no matter how small, to be where you are. When a man is falling for you hard, there's a moment where the excitement of connection meets the fear of vulnerability. He starts to care deeply about how you feel, what you think, and, perhaps most importantly, whether you feel the same way about him. But instead of just coming out and asking, "Do you like me as much as I like you?" he'll often test the emotional waters. Not in a manipulative way, but more like someone cautiously checking the temperature before diving in. Because to him, your response will either affirm what he's starting to hope, or quietly warn him to hold back. One of the subtle ways he does this is through playful teasing. Maybe he makes a light joke about being your favorite person, or casually says something like, "You'd miss me if I stopped texting you, wouldn't you?" On the surface, it's said with a grin, maybe even followed by a laugh, but underneath it, he's listening. He's watching, he wants to see how you react. Do you smile and tease back? Do you deflect? Or do you surprise him with a little truth in return? These playful moments aren't just fun and games, they're emotionally loaded. He's trying to see if you're emotionally engaged the way he is. Sometimes it's even more subtle. He might mention another guy, an ex you've spoken about, or a guy who flirted with you once, just to gauge your reaction. It's not that he's insecure, it's that he cares. He wants to see if there's competition, yes, but also whether you'll reassure him, even in the smallest way. He might say something like, "So, is he still in the picture?" with a casual tone, but he's really asking, "Do I have a place in your heart?" Other times, he'll do something kind, thoughtful, or generous, and then step back to see if it meant something to you. Maybe he goes out of his way to support you during a stressful week, helps you with something when he didn't have to, or even shares something personal from his own life. Afterward, he's paying attention, not because he wants praise, but because your response tells him how emotionally connected you are. He's hoping you'll recognize the effort, because to him, it wasn't just a nice gesture, it was a risk. A small emotional investment, and your reaction tells him whether it was safe to make that investment. There's also the emotional check. in the kind that doesn't come in the form of big questions, but in little probes. He might ask how you feel when you don't hear from him for a day, or how you see this thing between the two of you. Again, it's not confrontation, it's curiosity mixed with nervousness. He's trying to read between the lines. He wants clarity, but he's afraid of pushing too hard. So instead of asking directly, he tests gently. And he does this because his feelings are growing, and the unknown how you feel starts to matter more than ever. What he's really trying to do in all these little moments is to find out, are we on the same page? Am I just imagining this connection, or is it mutual? And he's doing it not by demanding answers, but by observing reactions. That's how someone behaves when they care deeply, but haven't yet built up the courage to fully lay their feelings bare. It's not about manipulation, it's self-protection mixed with genuine longing. So, if you notice him teasing, testing, or asking subtle questions that seem to carry more weight than the words suggest, don't brush it off. That's him feeling vulnerable, that's him looking for signs that he's not falling alone. Because when a man is crazy about you, he doesn't just want to show how he feels. He wants to know you're right there with him. When a man is truly crazy about you, something shifts in how he handles moments of tension, uncertainty, or even conflict. His ego, which might usually flare up in uncomfortable situations, starts to take a backseat. Not because he's weak, and not because he wants to impress you with perfect behavior, but because your emotional comfort becomes more important to him than being right. He doesn't want to win an argument at the cost of losing connection with you. He wants you to feel safe with him even when things get messy. That's the real giveaway. When a guy's not fully invested, he might shut down, get defensive, or push blame. But when he's emotionally all in, he prioritizes resolution. He listens instead of reacting. He apologizes even if it makes him feel exposed. He reaches out first after a disagreement, not because he always thinks he's wrong, but because keeping the distance between you two feels worse than swallowing his pride. He wants things to feel good again. He wants you to feel good again. You might notice that when you're upset, his whole energy shifts. He softens, his voice becomes calmer, his body language less rigid. He's no longer just thinking about how he feels. He's thinking about how you feel. He'll ask things like, "Are you okay?" or "Talk to me, what's going on in your head?" These moments might seem small, but they're massive indicators of how seriously he takes the emotional space between you. He wants to be someone you can lean on, not someone you have to guard yourself from, and this goes beyond conflict. Even in everyday situations, he begins adjusting himself to accommodate your feelings. Let's say you're tired, anxious, or overwhelmed. He doesn't just continue with his day as if nothing's changed. He adapts. Maybe he gives you space if you need it, or maybe he sticks around to quietly support you, even if there's nothing he can fix. That's what makes it different from surface-level attention. He's not just performing care, he's tuned into you. He notices when something's off. He asks follow-up questions. He tries to carry some of your emotional load, even when he doesn't fully understand it. You'll also see this in the way he handles emotional vulnerability on his end. A guy who cares deeply isn't afraid to say things like, "That hurt me," or "I was scared you were pulling away." That takes real courage. It's easy to be tough or aloof. It's harder to be emotionally honest. But when he's truly crazy about you, he'll risk that discomfort if it means being closer to you. He'll trade his pride for intimacy, and here's where the real depth lies. He does all of this not to control your emotions, but to respect them. He doesn't try to talk you out of your feelings or make you feel irrational for having them. He validates them, because in his eyes, your emotional safety isn't a burden, it's a priority. He wants to be someone who adds calm to your chaos, not someone who contributes to it. So if you find yourself with a man who doesn't just show up for the good days, but handles the tough ones with patience, care, and humility, take a breath and really absorb what that means. That's not just a guy who likes you, that's someone who's emotionally present. Someone whose feelings are deep enough that your well-being matters to him, sometimes more than proving a point or protecting his own pride. When he puts your emotional comfort ahead of his ego, that's not weakness. It's love in one of its strongest, most selfless forms.